Hi everyone, it is Etharal here, and today we are back with our Mount and Blade Warband Warsword Conquest, or Warhammer mod. And so obviously we have been playing as Samuel Morstein here, just seeing his character up there a bit, as obviously he has been working by himself, although very much focused on helping out the actual vampire counts in Sylvania, obviously with the goal ultimately of hopefully being able to try and expand and create our own kingdom with any luck. Here obviously we are, currently supporting this army on the two actual trade facilities that we do have in the actual, or merchant enterprise we have in the two vampire cities. So we're obviously earning a good decent bit of money. We're able to support quite an actual large sort of 75-76 size army, and we are able to actually support them very easily in actually quite a decent sort of level experience. It's not just all ghouls or zombies or things like that, obviously, which is definitely a good thing to be, sort of good situation to actually be in. And so here you can see we are just obviously having a bit of a fight. You will notice that following on, I have actually managed to take off the actual kill counts and things like that. Done it basically just as a way, as I do believe obviously it means that you can see things a little bit easier. Obviously there is still the damage popping up, but that is a lot further off. And so here we are just taking down some Empire guys, as we are often want to do. They are definitely something of a focus for us to be taking them down. And so here we are in reasonably actually good situation. Obviously our force here that you can see is quite well sort of spread out. We've got a lot of guys. We've also got some quite experienced units with like the Grim Reaper there that we've got up at the top, which obviously is the actual end of that branch of the tree for the actual unit. So he's definitely a very, very good person to be in. Here you can see obviously as well that the vampire counts have managed to take a castle over this river, and also as well take a castle in the Eastern Empire. So obviously they do have quite a large force, and so here we are just jumping in with them just to be able to help out with their actual fights and things. Not much risk to ourselves. Obviously these guys were already quite beaten, to say the least, so Samuel's just going to come in, hopefully be able to take out a couple of guys there. You can see obviously already wiped out one ourselves, and there goes another. So there we go, there's a third one as well. So the actual night goblins, compared to a vampire count in sort of the armor and everything like that, not really all that much of a threat, it's safe to say. Although obviously we would like to get some better armor. This armor isn't exactly the best in the world, although it is certainly going to be doing its job. It is good enough to actually be usable, so could be certainly a lot worse off really. And so here we are obviously just going to keep sort of raiding around a little bit in the actual empire, seeing if there is obviously any people that we can attack and we can possibly be able to raid. Or although we are sort of aiming at sort of the larger sort of caravans and larger patrols, maybe even the odd count or something like that. Anybody who's around about sort of the 40 to 70 mark is certainly a group of people that we could target. So that is something that we are going to look at doing. We are also, however, going to try and sack and loot this village. Not quite sure how that is going to go. Have decided, seeing that there was obviously the Tsar and the boyar of Kislev even, and he is obviously coming in our direction, and obviously it's not something that we want to be risking sort of attacking. Although when we obviously have seen that we are equaled in number of troops, figure why not. I mean, there's obviously a 26 renown that we're going to be getting from this one, although Samuel obviously being not just an exceptional sort of fighter and things like that, he's also quite a good leader. So he's not just going to run in and have himself sort of like have his army get spread out and then try and slam into them. Probably not going to be the best way to handle this situation. So what he does, he actually orders all of his forces to move over to this hill over to our right, basically hoping to get a little bit of an actual height advantage over them. Hopefully that should slow their horses down a little bit, as obviously they are coming up the hill, as we are obviously fielding a predominantly actually infantry army, well, entirely infantry army. We did obviously used to have a skeleton captain who's obviously skeleton cavalry, but they were something that, you know, not really much point in. Certainly when you've only got one of them, it would be something you'd need to get sort of 2, 3 of them. Well, actually, I'd mean more like sort of 5, 10 of them actually would be probably a more accurate way of putting it. And then obviously with a force that is actually of that size, then cavalry becomes useful. If there's only 1, maybe 2 of them, they aren't really something of any use. But here you can see we have obviously set up on this hill, and obviously in a big line, which is obviously not something that we want. So we are going to just arrange these guys up, get obviously our infantry in the front line to be able to hopefully withstand an attack. We're also going to bunch them up a little bit, having them in one line. Unfortunately, as you can see there on their right flank, they do obviously have quite a few cavalry guys, and obviously if you're in one big line, the cavalry, they're just going to charge straight through that, not even really slow them down or anything like that. Obviously the main thing of infantry, what you want to be doing is the first one maybe gets hit, and then the ones behind it sort of come in and stop the horse, where you can then take them down. Something like, as case and point has just happened there, that cavalry charge was not as effective as it could have been. If obviously we were only in sort of 2 lines, they would have literally just ran through our infantry and then ran through our actual archers as well. So hopefully here we're going to see how this goes, and hopefully be able to hold on to our lands reasonably, sort of hold on to our battle line reasonably well. Obviously this will likely, as you can see there, has descended into what is basically just a large force. We are doing our usual trick of deciding to actually move into their archers in the hope that that way we will actually be able to, you know, basically nullify the advantage of them obviously shooting into combat with our guys. Is not something that we want them to be doing or anything like that, obviously. So we obviously move in to be able to stop them, and then obviously the cavalry though does still keep jumping around. We've taken quite a fair bit of damage, so you know we're going to have to be a little bit more careful now and not just running in all over the place or anything like that. We will have to try and switch back to our sort of more hit and run cavalry tactics of our guys just running in, taking a clip and then running back out again. As you see there, we do manage to take out this guy's horse, which obviously removes his mobility, which then means that we can very easily assist this guy in bringing him down, although unfortunately it is actually our guy who does fall, which is not a brilliant situation. We'll have to wait to find out afterwards, basically, as to whether or not he is actually of any, you know, use if he is still alive. You just seen there as well, obviously Eddard, the actual vampire thrall, or well, actually not just vampire, that we have following us. He is obviously, there's him, there is Lazarus the skeleton, and Anthrax the chaos warrior as well. The chaos warrior is someone who is not really as useful to us. I think it is going to be a case that Eddard and Lazarus will be the people we'll need to focus on, as the actual cities to be able to get the equipment to improve them is obviously nearer. So there you can see we have actually lost only 23 men compared to their 73 men, so we've lost a fair bit of guys, and we do have quite a good little bit of luck that they do actually have some actual skeleton and ghost prisoners, so we can actually be able to claim them, although we are also as well going to capture these guys. Obviously we can have up to 10 prisoners, and so having this will actually allow us to hopefully be able to bring in some money. You can see there we've gotten a fair few number of items, to say the least, of actually quite a decent price, so hopefully that should allow us to be able to expand. Obviously we are actually at the minute, you know, Samuel is in a very good position in terms of money. He's not really got to worry about it. He can comfortably support this army, feed this army and everything like that without needing to fight wars while still actually being able to gain profit. So definitely a good situation for him to actually be in, although obviously it would be nice if we could maybe move up at some point up into the Chaos Wastes, and then, you know, take up some money up there, establish a merchant enterprise up there, and, you know, maybe be able to expand something that way. So here, obviously talking about obviously Lazarus and Eddard, what I've decided to do is I'm going to invest some of my, I've got around about 9,000-10,000 gold. I'm actually going to invest it in improving these guys. I don't actually really improve them all that much, you know. This guy obviously, his armor only increases by around 10, something like that, very very small amount. His head only increases by 1, so, you know, not brilliant, but, you know, any extra survivability is always going to be a good thing. As you can see, these guys are getting wounded more often than not. There wasn't really very much in Wallenhof to be able to actually improve Eddard, but, you know, that's something we'll deal with. We will obviously get him to improve at a later date. So there we go. We'll go obviously to the other vampire city. We've managed to pick up a fair bit of armor for him to basically see how this one does go, and and hopefully we should be able to improve him. Obviously, first of all, we start by giving him this vampire armor, which is definitely quite a sizable amount. We do hope to give him a wraith sword. Unfortunately, that is something that he unfortunately doesn't quite have the skills to, the strength to be able to use just yet, which is not brilliant, but could be a lot worse, certainly. So he is at least definitely a lot more improved now and has a lot more survivability to him. Obviously, we'll just take the chance as well to mention that obviously if you are enjoying this series, please do be sure to subscribe. I do put obviously videos out every single week. Would love to see your support, and obviously you will get your notifications for when new videos are coming out. And so here we have just moved in to be able to attack a lizardman caravan. This is something I've obviously been playing this a little bit between the actual videos that we've obviously been doing, and realized that caravans, excellent thing to attack. They have a lot of resources that you can, very valuable things that you can sell on and things like that, if obviously you can find them. Certainly I don't want to be, attacking anything like the vampire counts or beastmen or chaos, any of their caravans, although this one here, the lizard men, is an option. Also any high elves, empire, Kislev, wood elves, anything like that, though, they are certainly people that we could attack, although probably wouldn't want to attack obviously orcs and dark elves. They are somebody who are quite far away from us, but if we were to actually expand, or if we do decide to follow in our original plan of wanting to establish our own kingdom, then obviously the last thing that we want to do is for this one to be able to keep sort of an alliance with the vampire counts. It is likely that we would actually need to go and possibly look at taking some land further away from them, and obviously the last thing that we want to do is if we're taking land further away from them is to be then in of people who are actually going to be our ally in the future. And so here we are at quite a good little situation here. So we've managed to take them out relatively easily. Obviously those deserters had already weakened them, and so here we are just going to obviously level up Samuel here. He is actually now level 14, so he's in a pretty good position. I am just going to put up the strength. The reason being is I have actually, while I've been looking at shopping to get Eddard some stuff, I also saw some decent vampire armor that I could take, which would improve my stats quite a lot. It is quite a far way off. It's going to be looking at around about, it's about 21,000, and unfortunately that is too much for us at the minute, but it does require 3 strength. So then anyway, though, we'll continue on. This actually, after a little bit of a while, we have actually seen an opportunity to be able to this time become our own sort of high count or king or whatever you want to call them, as this land, which obviously did belong to the vampire counts, has been taken by Kislev, and they have only garrisoned it with a very small 23 guys. It's practically nothing, and as it's a castle, we could establish our own attack by literally getting some actual ladders and being able to scale the walls. We've got, we outnumber them 3 to 1, even with a defensible position in the castle. This is a very good opportunity for us and not something that we wanted to waste. So we pretty much, upon seeing this, we head straight to it, get those ladders built, and then we are going to get Samuel and his men up there, and chances are we are going to be able to actually take this castle, and quite a bit sooner than I was expecting, be able to actually establish our own kingdom. Obviously, if we do establish this own kingdom, obviously here you can see Samuel managing to get up, fight his way up onto the actual ramparts and everything like that on the walls. And unfortunately he's obviously knocked off, but he does come back down. He is not going to be left out of this fight. This is probably the most, even though it is quite small skirmish, this is probably the most important fight of his life so far. This is the one that is going to basically put him on the map, and also going to basically move him into pretty much the big leagues, as this here is not going to be something that others are going to be willing to allow. And so obviously this is basically going to set him up as a static target, rather than obviously as he has been able to do in the past when he's obviously came against empires and armies that are bigger than him. He can run away and get away to safety, whereas now obviously with having a stationary castle, not a massive castle admittedly, but regardless still a stationary castle, then this is going to be something that he is going to have to actually be defending and things like that. He can't just run away. So something that we will obviously have to consider is trying to obviously be able to defend it. And so way we're going to do that is, once we've obviously got it set up, we are going to basically move all of our guys, as you can see quite a lot of them there, into this land. Obviously that does have the added advantage of it does pretty much cut their costs in half, makes them a lot better. And so here you can see that the actual Berselhof has fallen to us. Obviously that does include the village that is nearby, so that is now 2 lands that we do actually own. And so here you can see we now possess land in our name without having a kin. If you do decide obviously to, they do recommend that you do pledge your actual alliance to a sovereign lord who will then make you a count in their lands, but that's not something we're going to do, although it does recommend obviously if this is not something you can do, you need to prove your right to rule. So that is something that we will certainly be having to do. And this kingdom we are going to name as the Morstein Vampires, after my own family line. Seems like as appropriate name as any. And begin to expand the actual vampire lands. Obviously we can put in 70 odd people into this, so it is going to be a case that we will actually be able to do that. Obviously, as we do have quite a fair bit of money as well though, we are also going to build a barracks to allow me to recruit people here. Not sure what it is exactly I can recruit. I think it is in castles you can recruit like special, like some of the more advanced guys, so definitely something we will be looking at doing here, and who knows, see how that goes. It's something we probably should have been doing from the start in other castles, something I'd completely forgotten about, didn't know that they actually did in this mod, so they got always something else to learn. And you can see here we are just putting in all of our guys to basically get them to the point where they are going to be able to defend this keep with pretty much ease. So we're going to obviously keep the zombies on ourselves. We'll leave 63 guys in there. So that is everything for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Do be sure to subscribe if you do, and I shall see you next time here at EGN.